Man, let me just say, man, I'm just excited when you come in the building, bro. I'm just excited to see you, man, because we have all season, we've had some good stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
So I just associate you with good things, DG.
Yeah, I mean, undefeated season, championship. Sam, I'm happy to hear you again because
Yeah,
you
it
were
was
really
bad.
scaring
It was
me.
bad.
You sound a little cerebral. You know what I thought you sounded like? The Guardians of the Galaxy, the raccoon. Yeah, I talk like, hey, Groot. That's what it sounded like to me. So I'm happy that you got your voice back. You didn't have to attack anyone this week.
Didn't.
Nobody attacked you, I don't think. So it's all good.
Hey, man, people were right. It was a little, kind of I didn't want to miss last week. I didn't want to miss last week. I had to be here for Monday Morning Quarterback, right?
You had to be here to execute your flawless soliloquy and attack on another human being.
Hey, somebody, I can't remember who it was. We were doing the everyone can't do it like DG thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, Devin, they were watching this. Like, Devin likes this comparison, right? Like and as soon as they said that, it's like, I like this comparison.
I like this one. This is a good one. This is good.
I like how this one is going.
You almost lost me when you brought Sam Cassell in the beginning. I go, me and Sam Cassell can't be the same thing.
Right.
He got too much money. That's why.
Yeah.
He got too much money. We can't be in the same deal, but it ended up being pretty good. You halfway decent, man. That raspy voice didn't hold you back.
Well, let me give the people credit. They said you sound like Yoda. You sound like Jar Jar Binks. They were giving me all that. You were right. But we had to get the Monday Morning Quarterback in always, just like we are this week. But this week we're talking about a Big Ten championship. Mm-hmm. These Wolverines, back-to-back Big Ten champs, and the big-time players on the big-time stage all did their thing, starting off first with number 9 himself, J.J. McCarthy.
Yep, another really good game. And it's so weird. I think people are kind of finally getting on the table with us and kind of starting to see, because I feel like people are kind of waiting for him to fail a little bit, waiting for him to not be able to do it, basically. Maybe not necessarily fail, just not be able to do what he needs to do to win the game and what the team needs for him to do and is asking of him. But he just continues to answer the bell. And this isn't just this year. Remember, going all the way back to last year, whenever his number was called, he delivered every single time. People talk about the fumble for Michigan State, which I stand that was a running back and quarterback exchange deal. It wasn't just a quarterback fumbling the ball. Other than that, he's delivered at every turn, and he continues to do so. And he's put his team in position, and it's cool to be able to say it's his team, right? And he's taking full control of it with his arm and legs and his leadership and his positivity. And you can see his positivity permeates throughout the team. I was watching a game, and they had the camera on Harbaugh, and in the background was Andrew Anthony, right? So Andrew Anthony hasn't contributed this year after having a pretty good year, and everybody looking like, man, we got a new number one, and he's going to be the guy and whatever. He wasn't contributing, right? And he didn't contribute in the championship game. And you look in the background, and he's sitting there, and there's no malice, no anger, no attitude, no ego, right? I've talked about it all year, but it was cool to see because I went to the MAC championship, and there were guys on those teams that didn't play as much as they thought they should, even though their team is winning, and they're pissed, right? Like storming around the sideline. Like, I should be playing in this game. This is the game. Everybody's watching this. My family's watching this, right? Even though the team is winning. And not only is the team winning, your position is playing well, right? So that's a real thing in college sports because everybody wants to eat, quote unquote, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody wants to eat. And Andrew Anthony has not been able to eat all year, and he didn't get a chance to eat in the championship game. Yet there was I didn't see anything where it's like, man, he's all pissed off that he doesn't get a chance, right? Because remember, last year it was him, JJ, and Donovan Edwards sitting and watching the Georgia team celebrate going to the national championship.
Yeah, I remember that. Yep.
Right? And it's almost like, hey, man, these three are going to be the thing. And it's been kind of two. And Andrew hasn't been able to get it. Now, he at some point, I think he will be able to, because we have to remember he's still very young. And because of how college football is now, you expect the young guys to contribute so fast. But I didn't get a chance to really contribute to a football team until my third year, right? So I don't know how it's going to happen for him, but it was so encouraging to see. And that's the whole team, right? That's the whole team. And I think it starts with the quarterback, just positivity permeating throughout the team and the coaching staff and everybody. And I think he's got everybody believing that the national championship, the first outright national championship, and I don't know how long is it could be this year.
So one of the things that I've harped on all season is, JJ's a ball player, and you gotta build into your game plan some just the opportunity to be a ball, but let him be a ball player, right?
Let him do his thug thizzle,
right? So that he's gonna give you that even when you don't design some things to just let him be a ball player. It's just gonna come in because that's him.
For sure.
The fundamental piece of it, you as a quarterback would understand this: your footwork, your technique, all of those things that go into making precision throws, proper number of steps on the drop, all that. I'm curious what you think of the finer details of QB play in that game, because just to preface the question a little more, talked to Borges after the game. He said, "Man, I think from a technical standpoint, this was JJ's cleanest game of the season."
Yeah.
I'm curious what you think.
I think his technique was good. The thing is, man, I hate to say this, but I mean, he knows, right? He's special, right? So, Borges, I'm sure he's talking about the majority of the game, because on that touchdown to the post to Ronnie Bell, his feet were facing the sideline. His feet are facing the sideline. He doesn't have his cleats in the ground. Nothing about his body posture suggests that he should not only make that throw, but be able to make that type of throw. Unbelievable. I'm talking about feet facing like he's about to throw a bubble to the left. And then he sees him clear, and he drives his ball 178 miles per hour down the middle. Ronnie Bell catches it, and it carries him out of bounds. It's like the old Michael Vick commercial. You throw it, and it hits you in the stomach, and you fly back. And I'm just like, but the one thing you get scared about is because he's so capable of doing that, right? Brett Favre, the guy for the Bills right now, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. The one thing coaches get afraid about is like, man, if he's capable of doing that, will he do it all the time? Because it won't work every single time, right? When you most need it, and this is kind of how I explained the quarterback. I'm like, yeah, a lot of guys are talented, right? I was talented. Guys are talented, so you're going to be able to make good throws with bad technique, right? That's not like it. Like the reason for training and making sure you have good technique is not because it's impossible to make good throws. Oh no, you see it all the time, right? Guys in the air, feet not on the ground at all, like all kind of crazy stuff happens because guys are talented. But on fourth down with the game on the line, the 10th time you're doing it, that's the one time it's not going to work, right? And then you're going to be devastated because you don't have anything to draw back from. And when it's not working and you don't use good technique, you don't have anything to pick from to say, okay, I can fix that. There's nothing to fix, right? Because there's no technique truly involved. But he needed to get that ball out quickly. And without resetting his feet, he drove that ball and he caught it with only a foot of yards. Right. Yeah, in the back. So he had to do that, right? That's not like, oh, he just doing what he wanted to do. He saw him late and had to throw it right now. And the fact that he's capable of doing it is extremely impressive. But to Borges' point, I think it was a very clean game, excluding
the interception.
Oh, my goodness. JJ, what are you doing? What are you doing? First of all, he had plenty more time. So I know what he's doing. I'm not going to say I know he told Ronnie to go. I would have told Ronnie to go left, right? Go back into the middle of the field and throw it to him. He told him to go deep. Ronnie didn't quite get the message. He throws it deep. Now it looks crazy. And I'm just like, why are you doing this? Why are you giving these people something to say? See? That's people, people at home sitting at home. See, I told you. But they forgot to look at the score and all that other stuff. And 13-0, first time in Michigan history, 13-0. But I was just looking like, why would you give them something to talk about? Now people, it's a bias of what you already thought, right? So it's like it's confirming, but a lot of people aren't going to thought that's the first time we've seen him make a goofy decision, right? Any other interception or anything like that was him playing football, having a plan and doing a thing. All right, now he had a plan there, just didn't work out. But it looked so bad though. It looked so bad because Ronnie didn't go deep, right? He stayed short and he throws like he's going deep, and the guy catches the punt. So that was pretty bad. But other than that, I mean, the guy played another really, really good game. Obviously not the big gaudy stats.
Right.
And the thing is, people just continue to wait for that. Why does it have to be the gaudy stats? Right? Timely throws, third down conversions. He still has that amazing play somewhere in there. He had a few of them, man. When we break this film down, some of these throws, we won't even have to do much illustration. Some of these throws where it's up and over the linebacker, and that's what you could to Sam. That's arm talent, and everybody doesn't have that. And a lot of people can throw. A lot of people have strong arm. A lot of people are actually really accurate, right? But that arm talent piece is another level where you can. It's great science, man. You can navigate a ball from a low trajectory, right? About 6 foot, 6'2", or wherever it's coming from. Get it up to about 25 feet in the air, right? Just over the outstretched arms of a linebacker, and then drop it back to 6 foot or 5 foot or whatever you need to do. They need to do a Netflix special on just like the ability to control football. It's the most amazing thing in the world. It's kind of like the baseball player that can make the baseball go way out and then come back in. Or you ever seen the wiffle ball, right? The wiffle ball that goes 15 feet to the right and then comes back to the middle, right? That's what people are able to do when they have talented arms with the football, and it's a joy to watch.
Yeah. You think about – I didn't even think about when you said they were staying on the field last year after the Orange Bowl looking at Georgia celebrate, right? What I thought about when they hoisted the championship trophy was a couple years ago, COVID year, where JJ's committed to the class.
Yeah.
And you still got options. You haven't signed anything. Donovan wasn't even committed yet.
Yeah.
Right? And so JJ, they come on a visit for the Wisconsin game. They can't even go to the game because it's COVID.
Right. Oh,
and then he says, I'm staying committed, and I'm going to try to get some guys to come along with me. Whether they do or not, hey, that's on them. If you don't want to come, that's cool. Because I'm coming here, and we're going to win a championship. We're going to win a Big Ten championship. We're going to win a national championship. And so come back 2 years later, I thought about that moment where, like I said, he had options. He came. Donovan came after him. I don't know if Donovan still comes if JJ doesn't come. Will Johnson commits not too far. I mean, you know, he was on the verge of committing to Ohio State. I know he's a year behind. He was on the verge of committing to Ohio State the next couple of months in January. He wound up not doing that.
Yeah.
But JJ was the domino that really made those other ones fall and felt like he fulfilled the promise.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, because, you know, a lot of players and recruits, you know, at the next level and at this level, I'm going to bring this team a championship. I'm going to do some of that. I'm going to do da-da-da-da-da. Well, when a player gets a chance to do that, now you cook with high grease. Like it's prophetic, right? It's like, hey man, I said I was going to do, and then I did what I said I was going to do, and in the fashion in which he's doing it, because you know a lot of people say that maybe JJ is the guy that's born on third base, right? A lot of people might say that. I think he's dealt with great adversity, right? Being so talented, a lot of people can't understand this because they're not very talented, right? They don't understand. They don't understand being so talented and being in a situation where you're expected to perform and you can't get a chance to show you can perform because someone's playing in front of you, right? And in your mind, because you're so talented and you're a competitor, you truly believe that you're the best guy for the job, right? That is a tough, emotional thing to deal with, especially from a guy that's a 5-star and the top tier guy. And for him to deal with it the way he had, he didn't act out, right? He didn't do things in the building to alienate himself. Because I'm just tell you, when I was a young guy, I did it over and over again, alienated myself because I was pissed, right? I was very upset that I wasn't able to contribute to a team because I started playing football in 1998. I never not contributed to a team, never, not once. Right. And so I would imagine it's the same for JJ. I'm sure he just didn't become talented. Right. He's always talented. And for him not to contribute in the way that he maybe wanted to as a freshman, that's demoralizing. That's demoralizing. And, you know, they got the packages in there or whatever, but that is demoralizing. And for him to have the mental capacity to deal with that and then to come into this year, because I'm just telling you, the beginning of this season, it started to wear on him. Not the beginning, during camp. It started to wear on him. JJ was not having a good camp, because he felt like it was a brick wall that he could not knock down, right? A guy wins the Big Ten championship a year before, he's coming back, and whatever case it be, is it a true competition, right? Because the coach will say it's competition as much as they want. It's not. Sometimes it's not really a true competition, right? And he didn't feel that it was. I'm just telling you, he didn't feel that it wasn't having a good camp, and then it became a real competition, and that's when he kind of turned it on, and you saw that light back inside of him. And I think that's amazing, man, because think about this: one decision or whatever. Say Coach Harbaugh never makes that decision to do the, hey, you start this game, so everybody can see and have a true competition. If that happens, we never see this positive, joyful, talented kid. We may never see him, right?
I said at the beginning of the year
transfer or anything like that, but I mean, in this age, it's hard to sit and watch, right? When you know you're capable of leading a team to a Big Ten championship. Now, it's in hindsight now, but we thought that was true. We thought that was true from the beginning.
No doubt.
Right? And so if you believe you're that caliber quarterback, you're not going to just sit and watch and continue to watch in this age of football. So we're going to go win a national championship. Michigan is. They're going to go win a national championship. And if Harbaugh doesn't make that decision without the help of anyone else, that was a Harbaugh decision by himself. If he doesn't make that decision, right, and he stays a little too loyal to Cade, we never get a chance to see this. And this may not happen. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's just how life works is so cool because, you know, he wasn't having a good camp. He gets a chance to compete. And now he gets a chance to grow. And I mean, I said this should have happened last year, right? And I always drew back to Trevor Lawrence and Kelly Bryant, right? Trevor Lawrence, Kelly Bryant was dynamic. He was the entire offense, right? He was dynamic. But when you put Trevor Lawrence in, it unlocked a new ability for the offense. It unlocked new things. And so Kelly Bryant went to the playoff and lost in the first round, right?
Mm-hmm.
They lost one game earlier that year, right? Last year, same thing. We lost one game earlier in the year, then lost in the playoff. And I think all signs point to going and winning the national championship, just like Trevor Lawrence and Clemson did the year after Kelly Bryant took them to the semifinal. And everybody thought, oh, there's no way Clemson's going to beat Bama. No way, right? It was kind of like how Georgia is now. Bama was dominant. Nobody thought there was any chance that Clemson would beat Bama with a freshman quarterback. And I think it's some of the same right now where a sophomore quarterback from the University of Michigan is going to go on and win the national championship.
Yeah, man. It's, you know, I think back to when the competition was announced. You know, I had heard, as I'm sure you had, weeks before the announcement that they were going to alternate starters at the beginning of the year. That was going to be how they did it. And I said then, look, even before I said, condition yourself, if you're a fan, to one of these guys leaving. Mm-hmm. Both of these guys are not going to stay. Just know that.
It's no way.
If Cade McNamara is your quarterback, I believe J.J. McCarthy's gone. Mm. Just like if J.J. McCarthy's your quarterback, I believe Cade McNamara's gone, which is exactly how it played out. So it wasn't an easy.
And remember, we said, where should he go? We said Iowa.
We said Iowa,
and where is he going?
No question.
He's going to Iowa.
Going to Iowa.
Perfect.
I think so, too. I think so, too. It'll be interesting to see if
he can get Iowa, Michigan, Big Ten. Because I'm just telling you, man, Iowa's a good football team. And they're quarterback away. Yeah, if Cade is who everybody thinks he is and who he thinks he is, they're going to win the West next year because their offensive line I have them twice. All sophomores and all freshmen. And by the end of the year, they were really playing really good football. The running backs, all sophomores, and the starters are freshmen. Wide receivers, you know, they don't really need them at Iowa too much. But they got some good players, right? They got good players that are going to come back. So
here's the thing. And so you just picked up
Iowa Big Ten championship next year.
Why not? I mean, the West is the West. I said this West, man. Being the best.
Iowa almost they
being the best. That's my point.
The bed late in the year, or they would have win again.
Being the best in the West is a dubious distinction at best. I said it's like being the most faithful Kardashian, man. It's like being Herschel Walker's most salient point. Man, I mean, these things
Herschel Walker is insane.
That's my point.
He's crazy.
That's my point, man. So
how about Cade's career? He's going to be able to take two teams to the Big Ten championship. Because I'm just telling you. I'm telling you right now, I'm on top of the table. Michigan is going to play Iowa in the Big Ten championship next year, right? And obviously, you got to get through Ohio State and things like that. But Iowa's going to be in that Big Ten championship.
See,
I'm more confident about Iowa than I am about Michigan.
Yeah, and I think that says more about the West, at least to me, than about Iowa.
100%.
But his challenge at Iowa is going to be, How can you get Charlie Jones was at Iowa.
He was.
And Charlie Jones, I was like, man, this dude is a ball player.
He nice, but he get fed a lot though.
Okay, but still, he's way better than he showed at Iowa. Why, if you're a receiver, no disrespect to Cade, why, if you're a receiver, would you even consider going to Iowa? Now, tight end, that's another question. That's another thing altogether, right? Tight ends, it makes sense. If a receiver, it makes no sense to go to Iowa.
But if you're Iowa and you're in the West, what do you need receivers for?
Right.
You got tight ends. You got an offensive line. That offensive line is going to be so good next year. You have no idea. And I'm saying it right now. That offensive line is going to be so good next year. And I say they got to upgrade a quarterback, right?
All right, so question.
Upgrade a quarterback. And their running back just got better and better throughout the year. The young guy, and he big 6'1" guy, can run, and has good patience and vision. So Iowa's going to be a very good football team. They do not need receivers to win the West. I mean, have they ever had receivers? And they've always been in the mix, right? And so I think that they'll be just fine. And they're going to be a better football team. Similar to Michigan, right? Remember this year, they're a better football team with this new quarterback. Mm-hmm. Iowa was a much better football team they were a year ago, and they were a game away, a few plays away from going to the next Big Ten championship. So
I wanna now start pondering playoffs, right? Michigan in the playoff taking on TCU, and then probably Georgia. I wonder what you think about that matchup. But think about this while we go to a break. Give me what your biggest area of concern is. What are you thinking about Michigan needs to improve upon? And what makes you the most confident? I'm guessing you're going to say quarterback, because I think that's the key. That's the key to it all. And that's what Georgia discovered they had last year.
But
Stetson Bennett now is like, I actually think Stetson Bennett's going to play in the NFL. I'm not saying he's going.
Well, you didn't think that. So I feel like I've been said that, right?
I haven't heard you say that.
Oh,
okay.
No, I like Stetson Bennett. He is a dog. And he got an attitude problem, which is good. He got a good attitude problem. He's a good player.
I think he's going to play in the NFL. I'm not saying he's going to be a guy.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to play there now.
You got to get a shot, right? You go back-to-back almost national championship, even though he's like 28 years old, but still, he's older than me. Jeez Louise. That's a old butt. But he's doing a good job, man.
Yeah, he made his offensive, he made his coaches right when they said you could put the game on Stetson's shoulders. I feel like Michigan has that now. So
5-star, 4-star, and say, you know what, we're going with the walk-on. That's
all right.
Crazy.
So ponder that as we get to the break. And this week, we're going to do a little something different, incorporate the people a little more. So if you have questions for DG, put them in the comment section.
Informed questions, please.
Yeah, well, I'll filter. How about this? Because I don't want to tick you off.
I ain't going to get ticked off.
I don't want to tick you off.
I'm just going to do this.
Right? And so I'll make sure that I get in some questions for DG from the people this time. So stay tuned for that. More with our Monday morning quarterback. On the other side, brought to you by our friends at Grand Traverse Resort and Spa, who, by the way, announced that for next year's Wolverine weekend, big fella is going to be a part of it. Hunter Dickinson signed on, right?
That's right. They talked about how you and Devin, of course, but that's the first current player announcement is that Hunter Dickinson is coming to Wolverine weekend in June of 2023.
Right, and they are still working on many other additions, so stay tuned. You can get your spot for Wolverine weekend right now by going to grandtraverseresort.com. Again, grandtraverseresort.com. Got to get to a break. And that's in June, by the way. So got to get to a break. Back on the other side here on the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA, The Ticket. All right. So let's do a little mic test, because they keep saying that my mic is hot and it's clipping. And so test. But it's not clipping over
here. It might
here.
be a stream thing. It's not a radio thing, and I can't really adjust it.
Yeah, I don't know how to.
Man, our stream viewers getting bougie. They're getting bougie, man.
About the stream clip.
Hey, man, your mic, it's not perfect. You have to fix that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So the only way to mess with it, and it automatically adjusts the mic volume. So, yeah, this is a tough one for us to wade through.
There's nothing we can really do about it, because we have to focus on making sure that sounds right on the radio first. I apologize for the stream viewers, but it still sounds pretty good.
Yep. Sorry, people. Doing the best we can. Maybe it's something that we can troubleshoot in the off season, but again, the radio play takes precedence, maybe what I can do is record it separately on a handheld and see if that works. We'll see. But I got other people saying the mic sounds fine.
Yeah, and I also have all the raw audio over here that's coming through the board, Sam. So if you need that,
Sam,
audio
I told you some
later.
of our stream viewers are bougie, and they can hear a little bit of the old rasp from a week ago in your voice, and they don't like that. You got to be perfect here. We will be perfect.
Oh
gentlemen.
man, it was like 5 or 6 messages at the beginning, like, "Hey, your mic is hot." I'm like, man, so I tried to push it back the whole night. But anyway, enough of the technical stuff. DG, what do you think about the field, man? Did the committee get it right? TCU at number 3, sliding Ohio State at number 4?
Yeah, I think so. And I'm just telling you, if Kansas State wouldn't have lost to Tulane in the beginning of the year, they would have been in that spot. I think they were, and it would have been a Michigan, Ohio State 2-3 deal. But you can't excuse the Tulane loss by Kansas State. Kansas State is a really, 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 really good football team, and this is why you got to move to 12, right? Because they beat TCU, right, and they handled that game for the most part. And so let's talk about TCU though. TCU is built in a way that they aren't going to be able to be successful against Michigan because of the way they play first, right? Up front, obviously, Michigan is going to be more physical team, but I think their quarterback is the X factor where he is so dynamic, man. Duggan is so – I saw him last year, not this year, but last year. I thought he was a good player, but he just wasn't he wasn't great. This year, he has been great. He could sneak in and win the Heisman, especially the way he played in the championship game. But the way TCU plays, they do not play well early.
Ira just said he thinks Duggan is the opposite of C.J. Stroud.
He's
mentally.
He's the anti-C.J. Stroud. He is a mental, like you got to think about how his career is kind of gone, where you get a new coach and you've been waiting to be the quarterback. You switched in and out a year ago, and then he's like, "Hey, you're not the quarterback," right? And then out of nowhere, someone gets hurt and he has to play, and then he has the season that he's having. I mean, it's an outstanding story. But the way they play is that, they come back late, right? They charge late. They always start off kind of slowly, charge late. Well, against Michigan, that's not a good recipe because first, Michigan doesn't ever play bad in the beginning, right? They just don't play as good as they do in the second half. In the beginning, they don't play bad, but they play well, right? Michigan plays well in the beginning. The thing is, that second half, man, and everybody's found out, Michigan is a totally different football team in a good way. They're unbelievable in the second half of games, right? And so TCU has been able to come back, and you saw against Kansas State, they didn't have enough, right? They didn't have enough gas in the tank. Obviously went to overtime, but I don't think they have enough to give up. If they can weather the early storm from Michigan, I think they could be okay. But it's going to be tough because they just don't play well in the beginning of games. They just don't, and they always come back, and that's not something that's going to happen because Michigan buries teams in the second half. Remember, Ohio State is a team that didn't play that well in the beginning of games, right? And in the second half, they will play much better. Well, when that came up against Michigan, Michigan is the best second half team that we've seen in ages.
What do we have left for Reese? Is it just Rave? Just Ray?
Back on radio in 5, 4, 3.
We weren't on radio. That's crazy.
Yeah, we were just in the break, DG. That's how that works.
I didn't know we were
man.
still in break.
Yeah, man, still in break.
Louise.
But we are now back on the radio here on the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050, WTKA, online at WTKA.com. Sam Webb, Devin Gardner, right across from me, Monday morning quarterback. Ira on the other side. Coming up this Sunday, I'm back out and about, continuing my craft beer tour because I don't know nothing. I don't know anything about craft beer, DG. I don't know if you do. I'm a neophyte as far as that's concerned.
I mean, you got Red Bull over there. That's kind of like beer.
Well, actually, these are my water bottles today. I've already been through these.
Oh my god!
So this is
Sam,
just straight water.
Slow down,
Hey
bro.
man, hey, listen, bro. You gotta have. This is gonna be a long day. This is gonna be a long day because after we do this, then we do Borges, and it's gonna go along with Borges.
Too long, man.
Come on, man.
Oh my goodness.
You know how it is.
Give him some better technology or something and let him do it by himself.
He is huge on this team, huge on JJ. And so we'll break that down a little bit later. But I wanted to let you folks know I'm going to be out and about this Sunday at Captain Joe's in Whitmore Lake, continuing that craft beer tour, watching the Lions take on the Vikings. And hopefully the Lions keep their little thing going. They're looking better, looking like we thought they would look at the beginning of the season again. That is Captain Joe's in Whitmore Lake this Sunday at 1 o'clock. Craft beer tour brought to you by Bell's Two-Hearted Ale. So hope to see you there. So DG, I sort of asked you during the break to kind of look at the field. Did the committee get it right? You said they did. Folks on the stream want you to chime in on this specific matchup. You know, how do you think TCU matches up with Michigan? What kind of problems do you think they might pose to the Wolverines?
The biggest problem is going to be Duggan, the quarterback. And the thing is, Michigan, they play really good defense and they played outstanding. They have not met a quarterback like Duggan, who is an explosive home run hitting quarterback as a runner. And his receivers are talented, and he's got a explosive arm, and he's done a very good job of getting the ball to those playmakers as well. And they have a really good scheme. So that's going to be the biggest problem. I don't think their defense is going to pose huge problems for Michigan. I don't think that their just running game specifically is going to pose huge problems. But their quarterback and his dynamic, similar to ours, right? Similar to JJ, he is so dynamic as a runner and a passer, and his spirit and his will, right? He has willed his team to a number of victories this year that they shouldn't have won, right? A number that they probably should not have won. Wasn't able to get it done in the championship game, but I'm just telling you, they're going to come back with a renewed energy and relief and a new life because they were able to get in the playoff even after losing the championship. And he is scary. He is a scary football player, because anytime somebody's been through something, right, it makes it increasingly difficult to break them, right? He's already been broken, right, where he thinks that he's going to be the quarterback. I had him last year. I forgot who they played, but he switching in and out, right, play well. You could see some potential there, but just hadn't quite gotten there. And then the next year they get a new coach, and he stays, assuming that he's going to get a chance to be the quarterback, and they choose somebody else. Right, so think about it. This kid that might win the Heisman, his own team didn't think he was good enough, right? Mm-hmm. So he's always going to have that chip on his shoulder, right? And that's, I think, where his will and toughness and the team takes on his identity on offense and defense. So I think that he's going to be a problem, and we got to try to find a way to contain him. You're not going to stop him, right? He's too explosive. He can do too many different things well. But they have to find a way to contain them. And I think that's scary because Michigan hasn't seen a quarterback like him all year.
Right. So getting some questions for the people. One of the more prevalent ones, Donovan Edwards. I know we focus on the quarterback here, but Donovan Edwards, the last two games he's had, DG.
Man, did you see some of those? So, you know, you always, I'm a guy that looks for positive things in everything, right? Where can something happened to me bad, seemingly bad. How can this be good for me, right? Donovan breaks his hand, right? So his right hand, he can't defend himself. He's a right-handed guy, right? He has become such a better running back because now he has to avoid people and make sure he gets vertical without using his hand to defend himself, right? He's essentially playing with the arm behind his back, right? And so many times, right, he's in the hole. He was in a phone booth a couple times and just broke dudes down. And it's just like when he gets his hand back, he is going to be unstoppable. When he gets his primary ball-carrying hand and he can defend himself with either hand back and he's 100%, he is going to be he's already dangerous, but he's going to be even more dangerous. It has been a joy to watch him because you know, in the beginning of the game, it always starts a little timid, right? Like, kind of just running in and not really. And then it's like it takes one really nice run. Doesn't have to be a touchdown. One really nice run. And then he gets going. I mean, he made some of those Purdue defenders look like Little League football players. It was an outstanding day for him again. And I just think he can only get better. Like, he is going to continue to improve, and it's going to be fun to watch. I'm so glad. I mean, hopefully he doesn't improve so much that he just leaves. Hey, NIL, y'all got to make sure y'all throw some money at him and make sure he stays after next year because his development has been accelerated, and it's like he's just splashing onto the scene. It reminds me of Gordon from Wisconsin. Remember, he splashed in the Big Ten championship, right? Had that jet sweep. Yeah. Everybody remember that. And then he just continuously got better. They were kind of going running back by committee, and then eventually they were like, "You're the guy," right? And then he exploded, and we all know how he turned into a really good back at Wisconsin. But yeah, Donovan he's everything that we thought he would be, right? And maybe then some, right? Maybe a little more.
All right. So get into, by the way, and you could just see the instinctive running for Donovan return. Last week, somewhere in the second quarter, it was like he was able to get to the point where I'm cool with running my left hand.
It helped that the offensive lineman blocked every single person, and there's nobody to touch him. That helped. You know, there's no instinct when there's a highway, a 94. How do you get to Ohio? It's 94 straight to the end zone, right? You know, they were not in the way, right? So I don't want to give too much credit on that. But this past game, those instincts were definitely there. Those big runs will have nobody touched them. The offensive line should be running. He should have slowed down, let one offensive lineman catch up, and hand him the ball so they can score a touchdown. Because they didn't even touch him
on the long runs. But he had some shorter ones. Yeah.
But the long ones, you know,
what people want to talk about. Yeah,
chicks dig the long ball, right? You know what are we talking about, right?
But this one, to your point, the
one run for the touchdown where he dips in and out in the phone booth, and then he finds. I mean, he's dragging guy. I mean, he's powerful. He's fast. He's got good size. And once he gets that hand back, we've already seen him as a pass catcher. I'm telling you, I'm selling it right now. I said it earlier in the year. He's gonna be the first thousand guy. And this offense is going nowhere but up.
Yeah, hey man, look, he cut back a split on here. Coaches say you better be right. He was right. Great vision. And then he ran through like 5 tackles on his way to the end zone.
He's a monster.
All right,
without his hand.
Let's get to
one-hand bandit.
Let's get to a couple questions here. This one from Marcus Ellis said, Devin, please explain the process for bowl preparation and the importance of the 15 practices for freshmen and sophomores.
I think that they're super important. I got a lot of development in those 15 practices because essentially another spring ball, right? You get another. That's why making a bowl game is so important. Obviously you get to do the bowl stuff and whatever, and that's fun. But teams are so enamored about making a bowl game because you get 15 extra practices. You understand what you can do in 15 extra practices? Not necessarily for your current team. Obviously, you can put new wrinkles in and different things like that. But like you alluded to, the freshman and sophomore development, right? And redshirt freshman, and that maybe a junior that doesn't play much, right? I remember Chase Winovich getting his opportunities in those bowl practices and really showing like, oh man, he might be able to be something. Not nearly what he became, but it was like, oh man, like you could try new things. It's like, oh, maybe he's not a tight end. Maybe he needs to play a little defense. Maybe he can play fullback, whatever the case may be. I think they're so important. And I think they're going to be very important for Michigan, right? Those young, talented wide receivers are going to get a chance because Michigan does a really good job in regular practice and bowl practice and spring practice of doing periods where they allow players that don't play to get game-like reps, right? And so you're going to get a lot of guys who are going to get a chance to show what they can do. And I think that's very important. And moving forward, it's undescribable how important it is. And yeah, it's great. I got a chance to show exactly who I was capable of being in some of those practices. I know Denard used to be scared. Yeah, like, boy, this boy nice, man. He coming, man. That's right, Denard. I was coming, but it didn't work.
All right, so here's one that kind of plays into a question that we were getting about defense. So this one comes from Grindhard, and he says, who played better against Michigan, Stroud or O'Connell?
Now we're just bullying people. What is going on? Who played better? I mean, I guess you got to say O'Connell, right? I think O'Connell, and you know, prayers go out to his family as well, the stuff that he's kind of dealing with. For him to even be able to be in the game and be as effective, he was super, super effective, right? And this is a guy he's more of a statue than CJ Stroud. You know, he is not going to run, right? I remember having conversations on the coaches call with LeBron, and he's like, we just want him to run like a couple times, like just run for 2 yards. Like it doesn't matter. Like just make sure the defense knows that you will do it. Like they're like begging this guy to run the ball sometimes, right? And so that's a guy that's a statue, and he was able to be a talented thrower of the football with his buddy Charlie Jones, right? He found a way to get it to him, even though we knew he was gonna try to get it to him. So I think that he did have a better game than CJ Stroud.
So I mean, I think it's a style thing in part, and I want you to explain some concepts to people really quick, DG, because he did play better than CJ Stroud, but kind of a West Coast style of offensive passing game against predominantly zone spot dropping team, which in Michigan went heavy zone in the first half, second half. They threw some more man in. I think the biggest difference was Will Johnson in the grand scheme of things. But if you are a precision passer, West Coast concepts, they aren't pattern matching out there. You can find some holes in the zone. You just got to be willing to be methodical. Seemed like to me, C.J. Stroud kept trying to push the ball down the field, and when it wasn't there.
Well, so C.J. Stroud had a lot to prove, right? He had a lot to prove. You lose the year before. Now you're in jeopardy of losing this one. I got to show how, and got the Heisman, right? There's a lot going on, a lot going through a person's mind when they're in that atmosphere. And so you can get outside yourself. Because, right, think about it. Ohio, obviously, they throw down the field sometimes, but their base is shallow cross, catch and run.
And they were not. Yeah.
They weren't using it, right?
They weren't using it.
And I think that's a big part of that is because I got to prove and show I got to do this. I got to do it, right? So if we play Ohio State again, I think there's going to be a much different game because now it's like, I can't do that. I can't do that, right? In the same year, you kind of reevaluate like, man, I missed so many opportunities because I was pressing, right? That's what people say when you say pressing. But if Michigan would have called me, they would have won this game. It would have been up 21.5 because Iowa Purdue, the thing is he wants to get the ball to Charlie Jones, period. It's Charlie Jones or die, right? It's Charlie Jones or nothing. You know what I mean? And so what Michigan started to do, like you said in the second half, is started to play a little more man. The thing is in the West Coast offense, it's all about timing, right? Timing is first, right? Timing is first. And the thing is, O'Connell is an older guy who doesn't want to move, and so he needs to play on time, right? He needs to make throws on time. And all year, Charlie Jones was able to dice people up because he can get that ball out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits throw. 1, 2, 3 hits throw. 1, 2, 3 no hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 no hits, right? And O'Connell was able to do that in the first half, right? In the zone. But what Iowa did after like the first couple plays, not the second half, what Iowa did in the first couple plays is they collisioned him every single snap, right? They put a guy in his face, and even if they didn't collision him, they gave the appearance that they were going to collision him. And after that, O'Connell would get off of him a little too early, stay on him a little too long. And so that's why everybody looked like, man, how did Iowa dominate Purdue like this? Well, that's because they had a really, really good plan on defense where we're going to collision this guy, take him away, and force you to throw other people. And at halftime, Charlie Jones had 16 targets against Iowa. Everybody else was like 3 other guys had 1 target, right? That's the recipe to be Purdue. And obviously we kind of grabbed that recipe in the second half. But I mean, if you allow those guys to play, it's like Tom Brady. Like, I'm not saying O'Connell's Tom Brady, but he was looking like it. He was looking like it. He was dicing up that zone like he was Tom Brady.
Young number two said, okay, I'm your coach.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah,
I got it.
And I was wrong about him. Remember, I told you I thought he would be.
You never said that on the air.
Well, I never said it on the air. I'm fine with being wrong. I want to get it right. I don't know about what I was saying. I was tripping. I might have been tripping. Sam.
I commend you for that.
Sam, I might have been tripping.
Yeah,
remember I said, man, he a real good football player, dog, but I don't think he like athletic enough as a dude to be that corner at that level. You know what I mean? I might have been wrong. I'm not gonna say I was 100% wrong, but I might have been. I was probably wrong.
Man.
I'm just telling you, he is playing outstanding football. Right, the way he broke on that slant, I said, "Oh no, that's another level. That's studying film. That's understanding. That's the cojones, right? The trusting yourself to say, hey, I'm going to get this thing." And he went and got it. The first pick though
was more important.
It's important. Forget about that. The impressiveness of it.
Yeah.
And he run the scene. He jumped over him. I had a play such as that when I was playing for the Steelers in practice. I'll send it to you one day so you can watch it. But I was the receiver. You know what I mean? I jumped over the DB. He in the back hip on the outside and jumps over and catches it. So, but that's the thing. I said that he probably wasn't going to be able to do is be the athletic guy to make plays like that. And he did.
Yeah,
and you know what?
It felt like he was trying to stem him a little bit. I don't know if he was trying to get outside.
I was wrong.
Will wouldn't let him get out and then jumped around. Man,
I was wrong.
I was like, man, that's some pro stuff there.
I was wrong. I know I ain't said it on the radio. Me and you just were having conversations. Like, I don't know, man. I know now. I was wrong. He a dog. I never say he didn't deserve wear number 2, but I'm telling you right now, he do.
Well,
he's a good player.
What it reminded me of,
big, fast, all that.
I said earlier in the show, I'm not saying the Will's going to be Charles, right?
Yeah, of course.
But he's wearing number 2 in part because of Charles, right? And Charles in his freshman year, final regular season game, but they didn't have a championship game at that time, but it was Ohio State. Terry Glenn called him out. Charlie Jones, no Terry Glenn. Charles goes out there and has 2 interceptions in that game. And you knew Charles Woodson's here.
Yeah.
Like, he had been starting, but this is, now you know, all right, the man is here.
Will Johnson ain't gonna do nothing but get better. That's the scary part, right? He a baby. He a baby and he don't know, right? He's a baby and he don't know. This is his true freshman year, and he's on one of the best defenses in the country, and he is a big part of the reason why they're so good, right? I mean, the sky is, and obviously, like we said, not Charles. We don't know if he's Charles or whatever. Can he become that? I don't see why not. Especially the way Michigan's front seven is, right? So he's always going to get a chance to make sure that he gets hands on guys and use all his skills. And the thing is, they're going to put him in position to be successful, right? They're not going to have him doing things that he's not capable of doing. But the thing is, he's a worker, so he's going to continue to develop in the things he's not good at doing, right? And from the looks of it right now, he's good at a lot of things, right? And so I'm excited about him, and I just want to go on record as saying, when I was talking to Sam privately, I was wrong. He is not a safety. He is a cornerback. And in the words of the Florida guys, he's a cornerback.
And you know, man,
a cornerback.
I'm good for bringing up receipts. I wasn't even gonna mention that, DG.
No,
at least not on radio.
I'm fine with being wrong. That's the thing. That's the thing about me and why this show is good, and then why anything I do is good, because I'm not the guy that's gonna get on the table looking stupid because I want to be right so desperately. Like a lot of people that I talked to about JJ, they want to be right so desperately that he was not good enough and that he was turned over.
On that?
Man, they still on that. And guess what? I let them have it every single time. I got a lot of group chats. So listen,
I hope they're not coaching nowhere.
I've never been. I'm not even about to talk about this. I have never been, and I will never be the guy who gets it wrong and refuses to admit it. I am 100% fine being wrong. You know how many times I've been wrong? I'm always wrong. That's a stretch. I'm usually pretty right. But I was wrong about that, though.
All right, moving on to more. All right, so this one from Cordell Cummings said, DG, can you talk about the balance between creating outside the offense and within for JJ? The Scooney TD, Bell was wide open across the middle.
Well, when you get pressure in your face, you got to start to create, right? So I don't think fans understand. And when you get down and tight in the red zone, you can see how wide open guys are. Usually you can't see because of the tight copy of the TV copy. But when they're in the red zone, you see the whole field, right? You have to, right? Because it's so small. And so you start to see a little more of like who's open, whatever. There's a guy open on every play, right? There's a guy open on every play. The read isn't always to that open guy. Some guys just pop open, right? And so you can't. Now, remember last year we outlined a bunch of times where the guy who is the read was open. And that was the problem, right? The guy that was a part of the read was open and we just weren't hitting them and weren't like attacking and trying to throw them. And so JJ, I think, has done a really good job of playing on time, right? And then I think he's done an even better job, right? I think that this is a job that I don't know how much better it can get of him scrambling when he needs to and creating. It's special. Like the one throw where he sees the pressure, he backs up, and then he spins out and runs backwards. Remember that? Remember how everybody, oh, you can't be doing that. You can't be, this ain't high school. Yeah, okay, he's done an outstanding job of it. And remember, I was very clear, it's calculated, right? He's not just out there running with a chicken with his head cut off. Remember, I forgot what game it was where he kind of slipped and fell down and whatever. I said, listen, man, he slipped, but he probably would have got out of that. He's an outstanding creator. The one where he spins back, runs back 167 yards, and then he runs forward, and it's like, he got to be across the line, right? No, because he ran back so far, and then he throws it with his right hand, obviously, inside to Ronnie Bell. I don't even know how he did that, right? How do you're running full speed out of bounds to the left, and you throw the ball back inside. I mean, it was an impressive throw, but his creative ability is outstanding. I think he does a very good job of getting out when he needs to.
We got to get out of here, so you got 30 seconds on this, DG. Duggan is good. We will see what he does when that blitz is turned up. What can we do to shake Duggan real quick?
Well, I mean, they're going to have answers, right? You got to hit him, though, when you get a chance, because he's going to be in the quarterback run game. You have to hit him over and over again. And I'm not saying it's going to make him play bad, but it's going to help, right? You got to hit him over and over again. And the pressure, I don't think is going to be the answer, because the thing is, he's a dangerous guy. When you get pressure and you don't get there, now you got issues. He's going to create and do all those things. And if you go zero, obviously they're going to have answers where he can check to a zero beater, which is speed option. And you getting a speed option with those talented running backs and him at the quarterback position is going to be dangerous. So I do not envy the
Jesse Minter
and preparing to play against Duggan, but I think they'll be fine.
All right, folks, we got to get out of here. Be sure to look out for the film study coming up later. Thanks again for another great Monday morning quarterback session brought to you by Grand Traverse Resort and Spa. We'll see you tomorrow here on the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WTK, The Ticket, the official voice.